It's worth the drive to buy premium locally sourced bait from Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, located directly off Highway 98 on the west end of Panama City Beach.
I'm NASCAR driver Bobby Labonte. At 200 miles per hour, many unseen dangers can arise in the blink of an eye. That's why we have spotters high above the track. They help drivers avoid trouble. Parents need to play the same role when it comes to kids and computers. As a parent, I know the internet can take kids to wonderful sites for learning, entertainment, and fun, but it can also lead to danger.
Here are some safety tips. Keep the computer in a family area where you can see it. Proactively teach your children never to share personal information online.
My turn.
Become knowledgeable about signing on to websites, searching for information, and using email and instant messaging. Doing so will help you recognize potential dangers. Familiarize yourself with safer websites and post that list by your computer.
Like our spotters, parents are best positioned to see the dangers kids could face online and to help them avoid them. Make a commitment to keeping kids safe online.
A message from WebWise Kids and Ask.com.
Technology moves at the speed of innovation, and today, that's lightning fast. So when you get your hands on the latest tech, don't forget to do the right thing with your old devices. Recycle them. The Consumer Technology Association and its members are making recycling your old tech device as easy as purchasing new ones. Just go to greenergadgets.org, type in your zip code, and you'll instantly find the responsible recycling location closest to your home. You'll also find lots of tips to simplify your recycling, like asking the store where you buy your new TV if they'll haul away your old one. Television sets, video game consoles, smartphones, tablets, they're all recyclable. Don't let them clog up your local landfill. Just visit greenergadgets.org. You're sharp enough to get the latest tech tools into your home. Now be responsible enough to get your old devices to the recycler. That's greenergadgets.org.
You think of your favorite shows. They're local. Folks in your neighborhood. Yeah, that's right. They're right there with you. Reporting on your weather, driving on your streets and roads, experiencing what your community experiences. They are literally your lifeline to all that matters to you. They bring you sports, your sports, the games as they happen. Your local broadcaster is there on the radio, just for you. We are broadcasters.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, WVLQ Port St. Joe, powered by Pepsi, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Transmission starts in 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting from the Rib Crib Radio Room. The Afternoon Underdogs are taking your calls live. 850-215-6290. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome in to the Rib Crib Radio Room. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. You're tuned in to ESPN Northwest Florida on 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe, Mexico Beach and Apalachicola, and 102.1 in Mariana, Chipley, and Bonifay, where we are giving you a chance to win a championship getaway to the SEC championship game. That's going to be December 3rd. Contesting is going to start October 10th. It's going to be much like our 5-year flyaway with the Atlanta Braves, but this time dealing with college football in the SEC championship game. So y'all make sure to keep it locked in here with the Afternoon Underdogs and the Coach James Hale Show on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm David Hayes, and I've got Drew Gorman in the house with me this afternoon. Amanda Muller will be with us shortly. Drew, my man, what's going on?
Just happy to be here. Finally was able to make it here on time. I was actually early.
Yeah, well early too, man, and we appreciate that. But you know how it goes, man. You guys are out there working hard, and also we know how it is with traffic over that bridge sometimes. So great to have Drew here in the building with us this afternoon. Want to give a big shout out to the Blue Wahoos who won the Southern League in AA baseball yesterday. That is their first outright title in their 10th season. They got a fifth inning go-ahead grand slam from their infielder, Kobe Fletcher Vance, to turn the game around. Then they rode the strength of their pitching to cruise into an 11-4 win against the Tennessee Smokies in the deciding game of the Southern League Championship Series at Smokies Park. So one of the things that I've noticed here about the Blue Wahoos this year, especially in the playoffs, they would fall behind in that game one, and then they would lose that one, fall behind in the second game, and then have a miraculous comeback to make their way to game three, the deciding game, and they would win there. So nothing but resiliency. The Blue Wahoos, like I said, this is their first title, and it's in their 10th season. They were co-champions in 2017 when they had weather concerns dealing with a hurricane that ended up wiping out the championship series. But do want to give a plug here, if you will, to Yuri Perez, who is a 19-year-old star prospect with the Blue Wahoos. He tied a minor league baseball record by striking out the first 8 batters that he faced. The first 8 batters that he faced. That's almost 3 complete innings of nothing but Ks. I don't know if there were forward Ks, backward Ks. Nonetheless, that's an impressive stat line.
Wow, definitely is. And the craziest part about the whole situation that kind of got skipped over, the game was at Smokies Park.
Yeah.
And they beat the Smokies at their park.
2 games in a row at that.
Like, that's just insane. You go to someone else's place and you take care of business like that. Way to go, Wahoos.
Way to go, Wahoos, Drew. You said it right there. So big shout out to them. And their next game will be April 7th, 2023, when they open up the season. We're on the radio at 104.3 FM in Panama City, 102.1 in Marianna, and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. We're streaming live on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. And we're also with our TV partner, Blab TV. If you don't have them through your TV service provider, get onto your Fire Stick or your Roku, go to channel search, type in BLAB TV for another great streaming option. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and download the app and register. The app, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. You can get that in your Google Play Store or your Apple App Store. We do want to continue to remind you guys about Hurricane Relief America. We're taking donations at 204 Ellen Lane, Suite B. This is in conjunction with Hurricane Relief America, which is brought to you by Event Production, Blab TV, and us here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're taking donations of cases of bottled water, batteries, over-the-counter medicine, building supplies, even dog food and bug repellent is a great idea. You know how it goes. We were hit with one in 2018 on October 10th, Hurricane Michael. We know how it is when you're hit with one. You escaped New Orleans, right,
Yes.
from Katrina, right?
Yes, we were living down there at the
you
time.
know it 2 times, twofold.
So just think, everybody, just think about what you needed, what you wished you had at that time, and just go pick it up for somebody, and I guarantee you they will greatly appreciate it.
They absolutely will. We greatly appreciate our listeners. Guys, Miles is out today. Should be back in tomorrow. I will be calling the Childs game in Tallahassee tomorrow, so I won't be here. Nonetheless, you will still have Caveman Rick and AG in here. Barrett Townsend says, what up to all my fantasy football friends that are 3-0 and to all my friends who are 0-3? Well, there's always next year. He also says, go Knowles and Bucks. Caveman Rick, what's going on? He says, yo, and Will Dittman. What's up, y'all? What's going on, Will Dittman? We appreciate you listening in with us. To the top headlines we go. We got a great show in store for you guys today. We're going to be recapping the NFL's Week 3 in the next segment. The Dave and Buster's Fantasy Football Update. I've changed things around a little bit, so instead of just calling it high score and low score and all that good stuff, we're going to change it around to, we're going to give them dog titles, if you will. So the top dog, which will be your high points, the underdog, which is projected to lose, but you still won, and the all bark, no bite, which is your low points. So tune in at 4:30 to see if your team made the list. If you're on the all bark, no bite list, you might not want to listen. So check the standings, see how it goes, and we'll be talking about the standings as we get a little closer to playoff time. Right now, if you're 3-0, 2-1, 1-3, 0-3, doesn't really much matter. There's a lot of moves you can make.
And as bad as I want to say I'm a part of that top dog, this past week I was definitely a part of that all bark no bite. So if you're feeling that, if you're on that category, don't feel too bad.
Wild Will says he wants us to think about him and his family as well. I believe he's in North or South Carolina. I believe it's South Carolina. And we've seen with Hurricane Ian the impacts that it's had on South Florida, no doubt. But it's exited into the ocean and will be working its way, according to the projections, it'll be working its way back up into that Carolina area. So we still got some praying and thoughts to go up. No doubt about that. And you specifically as well, Wild Will. We appreciate you, man. And we'll keep you in our thoughts and our prayers. Last night in Toronto, New York Yankees finally getting it done. Aaron Judge, right? Getting it done. Hitting 61, tying Roger Maris. Roger Maris did this in 1961, but he did it on game 162. Aaron Judge doing it at 155. I really think I think it's almost 100% chance that he gets to 62 and breaks that American League record. What are some things that you took away before we get into the Italian food side of things?
Well, first of all, I was just just the placement of the ball and how it landed in the bullpen. No one was able to catch it. It fell off a guy's glove.
Yeah.
And it's just absolutely insane. And as Roger Maris Jr. has come out, and it's all over the headlines today, they're talking about how as long as Judge hits, in his opinion, as long as Judge hits 62, he should have the outright title because the Barry Bonds 73 is tainted.
Yeah. What's your feelings on that before I get into my spiel? I don't think my spiel is going to be liked very much, but who cares?
Everybody says the hardest thing in life to do in professional sports is to hit a fastball. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how many steroids you've taken. You still have to hit the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I will die on that hill. You still have to have the hand-eye coordination to put the bat on the ball. So I say Barry Bonds still has the record.
To me, 100% right. It's Barry Bonds' number. And hand-eye coordination is a huge factor there. Here's what I want to point out. When you say the word steroid era to people, what do they think of, right? And I've even seen it in some stat books. In fact, in an ESPN article today, I believe it was. If not, it was the score. 1998 to 2001. Get out of here. That's when you knew. That's when you started to find out from 1998 to 2001. So all of these players, and we're talking about 3 players in Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, and Sammy Sosa, and you cannot tell me that those were the only guys juicing. In fact, the Balco report would 100% disagree with you. So, no, to me, it's Barry Bonds. It's not like he was some just nobody beforehand. Mark McGwire, same way. Sammy Sosa, if you look at the times that they went over, I think it's 50 or maybe it's 60 home runs. Sammy Sosa did it thrice. Mark McGwire did it twice. Barry Bonds, I believe, was in the 2. Maybe he had 3, but I believe it was 2 times that he went over 60. So there's that. For me, it is Barry Bonds. Kudos to Aaron Judge to have the non-asterisk side of the steroid era, but all that really does is help you, one, recuperate faster, but also, you might be able to put it a little deeper into the bay when you're in San Francisco. Now, some other things dealing with that. So, you had Sarah Walsh, who's a Fox Sports reporter and former ESPN ranker. She tweeted, "Bad news is I'm down here in Florida battling a hurricane, but the good news is I can announce my retirement because her husband, Matt Bushman, who is he was in the Toronto's bullpen, he picked the ball up. Then he gives the ball to Zach Britton, which is a New York Yankees reliever, and Britton was going to get it to Judge, and so then she tweeted out after that, or added on to it, "Oh, cool. He just handed that back without checking to see if our house is still here. I'd like to announce our divorce." And so this is all play and all that good stuff. So she went on to tweet, "Just a reporter doing work here. Per my sources, Matt Bushman wasn't forced to give the ball back, but he handed it over to Zach Britton. The Judge and Maris family have been flying all over the country. They deserve to have that ball." So now getting to Frankie Lasagna. The whole internet has exploded about Frankie Lasagna because he owns Terrazzo, which is a Italian restaurant in Ontario. I've heard New Yorker and Italian, and they're like, okay, maybe he's Italian with a name like Frankie Lasagna. I think so. But the crazy thing to me is, and Greeny was just talking about this not too long ago, Terraza does not even serve lasagna. What in the world? So here's another thing. All right, so that stands out to me. Here's another thing that stands out to me. I really don't see why this is such a big deal, the Frankie Lasagna part. I get the 61, but hey, that's just time. We don't play for ties here. We play for keeps. We play to win. We play to break the records.
Yeah.
Right? But here's why I don't think the Frankie Lasagna thing is such a big deal. The other guy whose glove it actually touched didn't even touch Frankie Lasagna's glove. He lunged over to try to get to it. He's the one who gave, the statement afterwards to the Canadian press, but the guy who actually was close enough to catch the ball refused to speak to the press. So I guess the name is the big deal here, Frankie Lasagna. So that's cool and all, but at the end of the day, man, we're sitting here waiting on 62. In the world of Major League Baseball, continuing on with that, rather, the Braves lost last night in extras. Very tough way to go down. And we were holding out hope, weren't we, last night? Because the Marlins and the Mets didn't go to extras, but both of the home teams ended up coming on top with that ghost runner last night. That gives the Mets a 1-game lead in the National League East. Both teams are off today. They will meet in Atlanta for a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday series. Saturday will be on Fox Baseball, 6 p.m. Saturday, you'll have it on ESPN for Sunday Night Baseball. So that is going to be it's the only division that hasn't been settled yet, and these guys have really good records. So whoever wins is going to get the bye. Whoever wins the division is going to get the bye, and whoever loses will have the top dog in the wild card series. This is becoming a lot of fun. Look at Milwaukee climbing their way back up into the stretch, only 2.5 games back behind the Phillies with close to 6-7 games to play.
It's definitely getting interesting. Definitely getting interesting on the NL side. A lot of the AL is pretty much decided, and you can kind of see it from there. But just as we all predicted, everyone and their mother predicted the Mets would be in contention in the end. Not really. So this is definitely a miracle season, in my opinion, from the Mets. And if they can, I know this is Braves country, but if they can put it together, I mean, it's good for baseball that there is actually some competition in the NL East, and especially with it being the defending champions, Braves, coming in and being pushed this far. Which, as an Astros fan, some of the Braves fans that are listening, they should take comfort from that they're having to be pushed like this before the playoffs. So it might give them more confidence coming into it and being able to just hit the ground running and get a stride from here and take it all the way.
No doubt about it. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has your chance to win a trip of a lifetime again. It's the ESPN Northwest Florida Championship giveaway Saturday, December 3rd at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Contesting starts October 10th with 2 chances to win daily. Keep listening for more details on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Hey everyone, Chef Ross here. Join me for our first annual Pops Pig Pickin' Charity Barbecue, benefiting Food for Kids, in honor of my dad, Pops Ronald Robinson. Enjoy mouth-watering barbecue, mystery drink specials, and a 50-50 raffle. Pops Pig Pickin' Charity Barbecue, October 30th, 2 p.m. at the Break Room, 2727 Joan Avenue. For more information, visit the Pops Pig Pickin' Charity Barbecue event page on Facebook. Sponsored by Team MVP, the Break Room Sports Bar, and ESPN Northwest Florida.
A mix of sun and clouds this afternoon near 80. A northeast wind up to 30 miles per hour. Water temperature in the Gulf is 85. Mostly cloudy, windy overnight in the low 60s. Thursday and Friday, spotty showers, spotty sunshine in the 70s, close to 80 degrees. Still windy too. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Did you know that fees associated with real estate closings are virtually the same from one title company to the next? So what sets South Oak Title apart? Effective communication, customer service, expertise, and technology. If you're buying or selling real estate, refinancing a residential or commercial property, tell your realtor you want to close with South Oak Title. South Oak Title, with locations across the Southeast, including Panama City Beach, Inlet Beach, Destin, and Fort Walton Beach. Visit them online at southoaktitle.com.
Lone Star Bull House is a great place for family and friends. They have amazing food choices from Cajun-style seafood bowls to oysters and muffalettas. You can even call ahead for pickup. Lone Star Bull House has cornhole and plenty of TVs for your enjoyment. They also have you covered with all the big games. Lone Star Bull House, bringing the taste of Texas and Louisiana to Panama City. Visit them today at 320 West 5th Street. For more information, check out Lone Star Bull House on Facebook.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has your chance to win a trip of a lifetime again. For more details, keep listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, live from the Rib Crib Radio Room. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
R.I.P. to Coolio, passed away today. I haven't heard anything else on it today, or later on through the day, but it looked to be maybe a heart attack that he suffered. Very sad news, but man, you know, one of the great songs we just played coming in, but what about the Keenan and Kel intro song as well?
Him too. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. I was gonna try to download that one today, but yeah, I do. Oh, I love that show, man. Oh, I'm going to miss it. All right, so we've got Amanda Muller in the building with us. She is the assistant general manager for Dave and Buster's. We've got a lot of great stuff on tap for you guys. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida, which is 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe, Mexico Beach, and on 102.1 in Mariana, Chipley, and Bonifay, where we are giving you a chance to win a championship getaway. Let's get into our recap from Week 3 here. Amanda, overtime, Bears win. Justin Fields still not looking electric by any means, but he got the most important part, the W. What'd you take away from that Bears win?
Man, I miss Lovey. It was hard. It was a really hard game because I appreciate what Lovey is doing with the Houston Texans because I think he's actually got something figured out. I like what's going on over there. I'm giving our rookie coach a good time here. Eberflus.
Yeah.
I love
I've heard it said many different ways.
How many ways people are pronouncing
it's almost like Dubs and Dobbs, right? Like
Yeah,
I've heard some of the commentators on the game calling them Dubs, and then I've heard Colin Cowherd correcting someone today. It's not Dubs, it's Dobbs. So, hey.
Right, and we're still working on Tua's name. So
yeah.
I'll take the overtime win.
Yeah.
It wasn't pretty, but I will take the W, and I am hoping that I was correct in my first week here. I think Miles and I have a bet about I'm going to win more than 8 games is what I took, and I'm just hoping that's true.
8 games with the Bears?
Yeah.
Well, you only need 6 more.
I know, that's what I'm feeling
6
good
out of
about
14,
it.
yeah. I mean, and you know, the Lions and the Vikings, those games could be closer than what's expected. You still got one more shot at the pack attack.
I am not even worried about them. I would be so thrilled if the Lions won the NFC North.
Yeah. I think every NFC North fan outside of the Packers, because they're hotty toddy, you know what I mean. But I think everybody in the rest of the NFL as well would relish in the fact that the Lions do, especially with their coach, because they were on Hard Knocks and everything. But Dan Campbell just brings a total vibe that is irreplaceable.
And you've got Swift and Amon Ra. You've got so many good people out there that I'm like, you know what? If we could just lose to them, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
I just love I just love the personality of Jamal Williams.
Yeah.
Williams.
I love him. And the speech that was came up on Hard Knocks from the coach talking about allowing Jamal to be Jamal.
Yeah.
And not taking that away from him. It just I was almost brought to tears with listening to him go over that, and just I was like, oh my God.
And I mean, they're still playing football because they love football. It's like, oh, this is my job. That's what a lot of football's turning into some places. Not the Lions, man. Not in Detroit. You are going out there with everything you got. I love it. I'm eating it up.
It's almost even creeping into the college football world at this point with, the NIL and stuff. I haven't seen it affect it as much as people want to portray that it has been affected with that. But, when you're getting paid a lot of money, that is your job at that point in time. So, hey, Drew, Saints lose. That was tough. I think for a lot of people. We didn't do this to make fun of Drew Amanda, but if that's what we want to do, go ahead. Yes, we did. So yeah, a tough loss. Didn't even score until the fourth quarter. Really couldn't even move the ball that well, and it's not like the Panthers' defense is something to write home about.
Yeah, I'm just at a loss for words. Like I don't know the announcers, and obviously Jameis Winston hasn't been the healthiest. He's got fractures in his ribs. He's got back. Like he was wearing. He got that surgically repaired. He had four.
He was blind.
Was blind.
He had 4 extra layers of padding and a custom-made back plate just to play the past 2 weeks. And I got to hand it to the Panthers because they definitely came out and took it to him. Because where Tampa Bay wasn't able to hit him 2 weeks ago, Carolina was hitting him left and right, 2 plays a drive, like it was.
Which is crazy when you think about it, because whose defense would you be more fearful of?
Right.
Exactly. The Saints defense, they looked really good, and then as the game progressed, obviously you're going to get more tired because your offense is going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And then towards the end of the game, once we started putting drives together in the fourth quarter, Jarvis Landry twisted an ankle, and Michael Thomas went out with a foot injury. So
surprise.
And in comes Chris Olave. Really has been the bright spot of our team.
Hey, so hold off on that, because I was actually going to ask about one of y'all's guys who broke out this week. So for you, Amanda, and the Bears, Khalil Herbert having a coming out day. So what are you thinking about the future for him?
I think it's going to do really well for us. Herbert really surprised me. I loved his run game. I loved the way he was reading the field. I was really impressed. I was like, wow, diamond in the rough. A lot of people are probably surprised by this. Montgomery having an injury hurt my fantasy team as well. We'll get to that later. But I actually have a Saints question. So, okay, Winston needs all that padding, the backplate, everything. Why are you putting him in if you have Taysom? Like, I think that's a risk.
Taysom was out. Taysom was out as well.
Ah.
So Andy Dalton's behind him.
I watched that whole game and didn't even know. Well, I guess that's the way that they utilize him, but I watched that whole game.
He's always that utility piece. What's wrong with Taysom?
He has broken ribs.
And I'm not laughing at Taysom having broken ribs. With Jameis Winston's got the vertebrae, right?
Winston has vertebrae. Kamara's been dealing with ribs.
What is going on with New Orleans?
Your guess is
your guess is as good as
your guess is as good as mine. We're the Chargers East.
Yeah, Chargers East.
That is unfortunate. I really like Taysom too, so I was like, why are we putting
the
him
thing that I don't like about Taysom? I love his athletic ability and what he brings to a team, right? Where for me, and it has nothing to do with the most important thing and what happens on the field, but off the field for us, fantasy, right? I think when you plug him into that quarterback position for the Saints, you take points away from Kamara, and you also your wide receivers don't flourish as much. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter about what we care about for fantasy.
Right, you got to win
wins and losses.
games.
Yeah.
It's like I said, your guess is as good as mine.
You didn't.
We're
I did.
playing.
You got to make sure you
so-
hammer her next
We're
week.
playing so terribly.
I didn't
we,
lose
we
yet.
Have not,
Yeah, that's true.
We have not looked good in any of our games until the fourth quarter in every single game. Like
That's true.
It's a light switch comes on because the way we won the Atlanta Falcons, the very first game against the
Same
Falcons.
way, yeah.
Okay, no, the Falcons falconed.
But you still got to go out and win. You still got to go out and complete the passes. It
no,
was like
you
all
don't
of a sudden.
have to. The Falcons will falcon regardless of who they play. They have made that very
They didn't
clear.
falcon last week against the I know it's the Seahawks. Maybe it's because they were playing another bird.
Gino.
And I mean, Gino hasn't looked terrible, but I am hoping Mariota and Pitts, like there's magic to be made, but yeah, the Falcons just.
Well, not only that, Drake London as well.
Yeah.
He kind of had a little bit of a coming out party as well. So it's kind of crazy to see as little as we thought of the Falcons before the season and where they've, it's not like they've just been blown out. They played tough against the Rams. They beat the Seahawks, and then they were leading 75% of the game against your Saints. So
Yeah,
that is
the
wild.
Chargers last year, it's like their losses were just so admirable.
Except for the Texans loss,
Except
which
for
that was no bueno.
admirable.
Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson for your front runner, or which one of those guys is your front runner for MVP at this point in time? I know we're way too early to be talking about it, but they're having great seasons.
Hurts, Jalen Hurts all the way. Everyone expected Lamar. Nobody expected Jalen. That's why I think it's got to be him because an MVP is most valuable player. I get that. No one thought it'd be him.
Yeah, I love that take.
Well, I was gonna go with Lamar because if you it's literally the most valuable player. You take Lamar
You can't
off
use
that
my
team.
own phrase against me.
No, that's exactly where I was going. But you take Lamar off that team, what do you have? You have a banged up J.K. Dobbins.
Is Mark Andrews even valuable at that
Mark
point?
Andrews? You.
But you're saying
who do
he
you
is
have
the
at wide
team.
receiver?
The Bears made it to a Super Bowl with Rex Grossman. The quarterback is not the reason a team can go somewhere.
I do like that take.
I think that was also a long time ago.
Well,
okay, but there's been
NFL has changed. I don't think you can do that these days.
I do.
I definitely do because I think that it has to do more with balance, in my opinion. I think that a quarterback is absolutely crucial because you've got 17 games in the regular season that you have to win at least majority of those to get into the playoffs. So you need you need a good quarterback for that to happen. But my thing is, if you got a good passing game and a good run game and a great defense, you're going to be stellar. If you don't have a great defense, you need a great passing game. You know what I mean? So there's
I can spread the
great
love
defense.
here. If you have Derrick Henry, do you need Tannehill's skills? No.
Yeah, well, we're sitting at 1-2 right now.
That's what I'm saying. Tannehill is not the reason, that they can do
He
it.
is
But Derrick Henry can carry a lot of that team.
I'm hoping.
And it's funny. My wonderful husband, he was like, it snowed in Vermont, because of course the Yeti and Derrick Henry and the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, it snowed. They're gonna win today.
And it worked.
I was like,
they almost gave it up,
okay.
though. They almost gave it up, and that was very scary to watch because you're up 24-3 essentially going into the second half, and then it just kind of unravels in a kid that no one's even got rostered on their fantasy team in Max Hollins, and he just goes absolutely off. And we're about to go off for a few minutes for a break here. You guys are listening to ESPN Northwest Florida here in Panama City on 104.3. It's the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes, along with Drew Gorman and Amanda Muller. We're going to be back in just a few short moments, so keep it locked in right here to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're the radio home of the Mosley Dolphins.
This Friday night, we're going under the lights. It's Mosley at Childs. The Dolphins versus the Timberwolves. Kickoff at 6. Sponsored by Southern Orthopedic Specialists, Panama City Toyota, Tavario Solutions, Gulf Coast Aquarium, Barano Heating and Air Conditioning, Barbaritos, Team MVP, Ellis Agency Insurance, First Federal Bank, and ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey there, folks. Welcome back to another college football season. And welcome back to another season of Fansville by Dr. Pepper. That little slice of heaven. Every man, woman, and student section drinks Dr. Pepper like their life depends on it. It does. But the air is filled with the scent of charcoal grills, and the streets are marked with yard lines. Practical. Where the current trending baby names are Blitz, Spike, and 2-point conversion. Adorable. And recruitment starts before you're born. It's a linebacker. Where NFT stands for Not Fun Tailgate, and DIY stands for Dr. Pepper is Yummy. It is. It's the place off-season fever dreams are made of, where the right to life, liberty, and barbecue is written in the town's constitution. Saucy. And the current forecast is sunny, with a 90% chance of the skies opening up and raining down delicious droplets of Dr. Pepper. Grab a bucket. Get ready for anything to happen this college football season on Fansville by Dr. Pepper. The one fans deserve. Grab some today.
It's time to let the fall adventures begin in a new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Now offering 3.49% up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2022 Kia Sorento. You can expand your horizons and write your next chapter with confidence in the outgoing and adventurous 2022 Kia Sorento that has the perfect balance of comfort, safety, performance, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKia.com. We make buying a car easy and will give you the peace of mind you can trust.
Offer from KMF for the purchase of a new 2022 Sorento with $22.36 per month per 1,000 financed at 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Can be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 10/31/22.
Live from the Rib Crib studio. Hot takes, the latest trades, in-depth interviews.
That is my reaction.
We break it down for you right here.
Very big springboard for the rest of my career.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
That's the problem right there.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back. We are live. We're in the Rib Crib radio room, and you guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes, along with Amanda Muller and Drew Gorman. We're going to keep it rocking. We're going to keep it rolling. Keep it locked in with us. Let's get into our Dave & Buster's fantasy football update. Now, first, before we get into that, you've got two ways. Maybe there's a few more, but we're going to give you two options to either watch or listen to the Thursday night football game tonight, which is the Dolphins versus the Bengals. Could be a lot of fun. Should be a lot of fun. You got Tua and Jalen Waddle sitting there with a questionable status. Joe Burrow looked good last week against the Jets. So this is going to be a great game. Now, to watch the game, Amanda, where's the best place to go to?
Dave & Buster's right there in Pier Park.
Yeah, and we're going to be giving you guys a Dave & Buster's gift card away today. The other option is to get the ESPN Northwest Florida app, or if you're here in Panama City, listen on 104.3. If you're in Mariana, listen on 102.1. And if you're in Port St. Joe area, 101.9. So if you don't have Amazon Prime, we've given you two options there. One being Dave & Buster's to go view the game, have a great time, power up those cards. And then also you can listen. You could do both at the same time. If you're having too much fun playing the games while you're at Dave & Buster's, then you could just put your phone in your pocket, get you some headphones, and walk around, play some games.
We play it on sound, too, don't you?
Oh, there you go. There you go. Best of both worlds. So let's get into our categories here for the fantasy football leagues. In the Champions League, the top dog, which is High Points, was Dude Looks Like a Brady with 146.36 points. The underdog, which was projected to lose but still won, was Panama City T. Ross, projected to lose by 17, ended up winning by 124 to 90.16. And the all bark, no bite, which is the low points, was Sam Peebles with 86.5. In the 104.3 league, the South League, the top dog was Luck Ran Out with 138.2. The underdog was the Buffalo Bills Mafia. They were projected to lose by 12 and won 116.7 to 105.96. The all bark, no bites was Freeport Rob D, who had 79.06 points. In the 102.1 league, which is the North League, was the top dog was Mike Evans Goat with 145.42. The underdog was Y'all Are Afraid, projected to lose by 18, ended up winning 113 to 82.14. The all bark no bite was the Fins with 72.66 points. How did you guys guys do, Amanda and Drew, in y'all's fantasy leagues this week?
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Well, hey, you're keeping it real.
0-4.
Oh my gosh.
Where you at, Amanda?
I went 1-1. My Dave and Buster's league. We have a league between some of the managers, former and current. People have their best weeks
against
me.
I had a year like that 2 years ago, and I hate it.
So I'm 1-2 in that league. I lost by 2 points each time.
And y'all have bonuses and stuff like that to rack you up.
And I mean, like, it was both of their best games against me. But my other league, I am still without a loss. So
sitting at 3-0.
3-0.
That is good stuff. I was 2-1 last week. My money league with my friends and stuff was the one I lost to Caveman Rick. As great as that is, he had a great game. I mismanaged a little bit, but at the end of that's the biggest thing for me, right? If my team falls flat, but I put the best players in position, it's all good. It is what it is. But if I played it wrong, like I left Amari Cooper on the bench and played Brandon Cooks, either way it goes, the other team has that, I don't want to call it an excuse, but they have that reasoning as well, right? And so Caveman Rick had some other players that he could have plugged in and to counteract what would have been my high score. His high score would have been higher there. So he was coming away with the win either which way. Yeah, so 2-1 for me, winning in the Champions League and in one of my auction leagues, which have you guys ever played auction before?
No.
I hate them.
You hate it?
I hate it.
I've never done it.
It's so long.
The draft part of it
is so long.
Ours normally runs about 2.5 hours, which is long for a draft, but it's just so fun, especially when you get into the later rounds and people are bidding against each other, knowing good and well that they don't even want that player, but they want you to spend that money.
For me, I hate it because I get too anxious and I wanna spend all my money immediately. And anybody comes up, I'm like, yeah, I want him, sure, even if I don't want him. That's how I ended up with Russell Wilson.
I'm gonna have to try that one out next year.
It's a lot of fun. It definitely evens the playing field because it definitely evens it. They try. That's probably the most even a fantasy football league can be, as opposed to just randomly like selecting and going from there. But
I like some of these people I've seen online doing like combines with their draft. I think that's fantastic.
I want to do one.
We
like,
should
do
I haven't. I'm
so
clueless
like
there.
like flip cup, beer pong.
Okay. No, I have seen that. I have seen that.
I think that's the most fair way. That's the way to do
it.
Should we? It next year.
Yeah, because we got to get you in the leagues with us next year.
Oh yeah,
Drew,
we can host
if
it
you're
at
not
Dave and Buster's. We'll do a combine.
Dude, we're having a combine league next year. I don't know. Maybe we do that with like a separate thing with all of the hosts or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out though. That seems like a lot of fun. Travis says he's 2-1 in both of his leagues. Ken, the winner. I don't know if you're listening. Man, I'm sorry that you just left. We're not at the new location right now. The best time, guys, if you're going out to pick up at the beach until I'm there full time, is going to be from about 8:30 till 1:30, especially on Fridays. But every day of the week, to guarantee that someone's there at 204 Ellen Lane, Suite B. Make sure that you're trying to get there between 8:30 or 1:30, or if you text 850-215-6290 and let me know that you're going to be coming by at a certain point. If I'm already gone from or if I'm still at the new station, I can bring your prize package and meet you here, try to make it easier on everyone. But we should be in the new station next week. So we'll see how that all rolls out. Let's talk a little bit about NFL Week 4. Fingers crossed. Starting it off here in London, the Vikings are going to be playing the Saints. Saints are actually a 2.5-point underdog here. I don't know how much that has to do with injuries. There's not too many home underdogs this week, which this technically isn't at home. But this game will be on ESPN Northwest Florida. Coverage starting at 8 a.m. in the morning. Kickoff time at 8:30. So what does that mean? That means that Sunday, all day long, like you don't even get prep time when you wake up. It's just go. It's
There's
all
like
the way to the wall.
Appetizer game, red zone.
Better make sure your fantasy lineups are set Saturday
night, and don't stay up all night.
Because I use that wiggle room sometimes on Sunday morning.
Oh, come on. You have to, right? Because, I mean, how many times are you sitting there on Sunday morning with that red cue beside a player? For me, last week with Justin Herbert, all day long I'm sitting there waiting on Sunday like, should I even waste my time with this? And he ended up pulling, I think, 14 points, so not too shabby, but it is one of those things that you're wrecking your mind over.
And especially with the Saints right now, there was a injury report that came out from yesterday on one of the Saints pages that I follow, and there's a literal block section of like 10 Saints names that were either limited practice or did not practice.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the Vikings, there was nobody. And I'm like, well, that must be nice. Wish I could be there.
So who are you taking in this game?
Oh, I'm definitely taking the Saints, but
With
that's
your
the
heart
homerism.
or with your head? Is this a knowledge thing or a heart thing?
Is Dalvin playing?
I think that they said that he's going to be wearing a harness and playing.
If Dalvin's in, I might take Vikings. But if I know Madison's not that much of a drop off, but if Dalvin's playing, I'm taking the Vikings.
I think it's going to be the Vikings, regardless of Dalvin playing or not.
I think I agree more with that than with with Dalvin Cook being out. I think a healthy Alexander Madison over a banged up Dalvin Cook is still the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the passing capabilities that the Vikings can bring. And I haven't seen a ton out of that Saints defense this year. I mean, they played very well against the Buccaneers, but didn't come away with the win. I think I like the Vikings here. Covering 3 points, who knows? We're talking about the NFL, and there's been a lot of parity this year. Some weird games, and this could be another one because it's like when you expect a team, especially heavily expect a team to win, something comes up. Travis brings up a great question. It's great that you're here, Drew. What do y'all think happens if Andy Dalton starts? Do you think he proves himself or stays a bust?
I think he proves himself because he's got he looked great in the preseason. He looked really good towards the end of at the very beginning of his career with the Bengals. And one of the big narratives that was coming out of Saints preseason was him basically saying, "Hey, like I don't have to be the guy. I don't have to be the one to make all the plays. I have playmakers around me: Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, Olave, Ingram, Kamara, even Taysom Hill at tight end. Like I don't have to be the guy. I just got to get it to him. A modified game manager, and I think he definitely shows his skills and puts it all back together and puts it, and that will give Dennis Allen confidence. Hey, let's let Jameis sit for a minute. Get Andy Dalton's more than capable. He's on the latter half of his career, but I think he's more than capable.
I think Dalton is actually the way to go. I think the Saints need to just give up on the Winston idea. Was he a great player in college? Absolutely. Fantastic. Heisman winner. There are more teams
Crab leg taker.
A lot of teams have put their faith in him and then have moved on. The Saints feel like, to me, they don't want to move on, and I think they should. Dalton might be the answer. Maybe not, but I don't think Winston is either.
I wonder how big of a problem or maybe a hurdle to jump over it is having Dennis Allen as a defensive guy running the team and the offensive coordinator still trying to run Sean Payton's offense without Sean Payton there. I wonder if that could be problematic. I don't think that Andy Dalton – I think, Jameis Winston is still, if we're on the triple beam scale here, I'm taking Jameis Winston. I think that his talent outweighs what Andy Dalton brings to the team. I would rather have Taysom Hill out there starting, I think, than Andy Dalton. I know that you'd rather have Taysom Hill than
yes.
Winston and Andy Dalton.
I would.
As a Saints fan, I saw that last year, and it didn't end well.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, Saints fans are going to know or have a stronger opinion than what me and Amanda are going to have. There's no doubt about that. Let's move on to one of the bigger games. We'll keep it roll. Actually, it's time to get to a break, and we're going to play some trivia. We're going to keep it rolling with this as well. 850-215-5006. Let me know if the number is not working. We'll move it to text. What wide receiver on this day 20 years ago, 9/29/2002, passed Walter Payton as the all-time leader in yards for scrimmage? ESPN Northwest Florida is your new radio home for the Mosley Dolphins. Live play-by-play with myself and Kyle Wright. This Friday, we've got Mosley and the at Childs Timberwolves kickoff at 6 p.m.
Bigger and better than ever. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has your chance to win a trip of a lifetime again. We just sent Ron to see the Atlanta Braves at beautiful Truist Park.
Thank you so much.
Next, we're sending you to the SEC Championship game.
It's an awesome experience.
Saturday, December 3rd at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the ATL. For more details, keep listening to ESPN Northwest Florida.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
That boot store reminds you, football weather means colder weather can't be far off. Now's a great time to shop for those winter work coats, shirts, and shoes. Janice and Irene, along with the staff, welcome you to stop by and shop for the whole family at that boot store. Remember Joe's motto, always put Jesus first in your life. Open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 on Friday and Saturday. That boot store. Next to Bill Bird Kia on 15th Street, Panama City.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Smothers at 784-6601, 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
Hello, this is Rick Vossen with RV of Panama City, your local Stormore portable building dealer. We are located on 2241 East Baldwin Road, Panama City. Shopping for an 8-foot to 16-foot in width or 10-foot to 60-foot in length, cabin, garage, portable building, whatever the needs are. Remember, at Stormore, we can insulate our buildings. We can put electric on, thermal windows, transom dormers. There's so much we can do. Stormore Portable Buildings, 2241 East Baldwin Road.
It's go time all the time. Sports talk around the clock.
Oh my gosh!
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, live from the Rib Crib Radio Room. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. We're in the Rib Crib Radio Room. You guys are listening to ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe, Mexico Beach, and Apalachicola, and 102.1 in Mariana, Chipley, and Bonifay. We're going to be giving you a chance to win a championship getaway. Now, guys, if you're trying to play trivia, you do need to dial 850 ahead of the 215-5006. I just tried it, so I do know that it works firsthand, but the problem is maybe it just works in close quarters. Maybe it's got, that could be a problem, or that could be an issue, rather. If we don't have a winner by 5:15, we'll open it up to the texting world. But if not, give us a call, 850-215-5006. What wide receiver on this day 20 years ago passed Walter Payton as the all-time leader in yards from scrimmage? That is to win a Dave & Buster's gift card, a Barbaritos gift card, and a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock. Big shout out to the Florida State Seminoles, and we've got more on that in the next segment when we get into our picks. Florida State, Wake Forest, that is going to be a heck of a game. Waiting on you guys' call right here to win the prize. Let's get into the Jaguars-Eagles here. Now, the Jaguars have been dominant in their last two games. They did lose to the Commanders, but they've been dominant since then. And then the Eagles sitting undefeated. In fact, they've been playing so good. I started a new franchise on Madden last night just to play with the Eagles. For real. Well, it's always fun playing with an Alabama quarterback, and I made a little tweaks. I traded Miles Sanders for Damian Harris, and so it's looking like a little mini Alabama over there in Philly. But they're a fun team, and they've got a lot of talent over there. What do you guys like out of the Jaguars and the Eagles? And the Eagles, you can pick your straight-up winner, but they've got to cover 6.5 points, which seems to be like it could be tough against that Jags defense.
To me, it just goes to show you what happens when you put the right coach with an offensive-minded coach with Trevor Lawrence. Like, you put
Absolutely.
the right coach in the right situation, and immediately he's 10 times better. Like, Trevor Lawrence has looked like he should, like he was projected. And that defense is pulling together. I heard it this morning. They were talking about earlier today. They were talking about what the defensive coordinator from Jacksonville. He's coming from Tampa Bay, and he had Devin White and Levante David. So he was like, okay, that's my scheme. This is what worked for me. Let's try to duplicate that. They got Devin Lloyd and Foyose Oluokun. That's just
nice pronunciation. You commented
wow,
on my
he
Uyangalele
practiced.
last week, but that's nice right there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Let me get
I do that.
Get that dust off his shoulder. Where you at, JC?
But yeah, it's he's definitely building something, and I think this is a big building year for the Jaguars. If they can keep playing like this and keep building upon this confidence that they're having, they might be the class of the AFC South.
So is that who you're taking? You still have to pick.
Straight up. Who do you have?
Picking. I'll take Eagles.
With the 6.5, you like Jacks?
Yeah.
Amanda.
If you would have told me 4 weeks ago that I would be thinking this hard about the Jaguars-Eagles game, straight up, I'm taking the Eagles. I don't think they cover with the points. I don't. I do agree, you know, there is that connection. He's got ATN. They look phenomenal, but so do the Eagles. And again, I'm just shocked I'm even saying it, but I think it's going to be a fun game to watch either way, which I love. But yeah, Eagles win.
Yeah, for me, I have to agree with you guys here. Now, you know, I check my NFL pick'em every single day, regardless if they're playing or not. So by the time Sunday gets here, I don't know which way I'm going to be going. As of today, as of this beautiful Thursday afternoon, I'm going to go with the Eagles to win outright. In fact, I would say I think that Philly wins by 8 or better. Just because of being at the house and how well that they've been playing. And really the thing that stands out to me more than anything for the Eagles is their depth on both sides of the ball. But when you look at defense, they've got 3 guys ahead of Jordan Davis, and Jordan Davis is spectacular, right? He's a rookie, yeah, sure. But they got 2 guys ahead of him that are playing the defensive tackle, not even talking about the ends. They're good at linebacker. They're okay in the secondary as far as on paper, but when it goes to on field, they look like they're playing fantastic right now. They gave up maybe too many points to the Detroit Lions, but what have we seen from Detroit since that game? Some good ball. You know, they've been playing well. So I'll take the Eagles outright, and I think that they cover the 6.5 there. Let's get into this next game. We talked about the Vikings and the Saints. We've talked about the Jags and the Eagles. How about the Bears and the Giants? We'll get to the Titans, Colts, and the running back battle that will be at some point in time. But Bears-Giants seems intriguing to me. Both teams coming at 2-1. You talked about the Jaguars and the conversation of the Jags-Eagles 3 weeks ago. That wouldn't be we wouldn't be having that. Well, the Bears and the Giants sitting at 2-1. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, and I think straight up, I'm taking the Giants with the points. I'm taking the Giants. I think the Bears are getting it figured out. I think, you know, Herbert did our little guy last time. He did well. And we have a St. Brown. We have Equiminius.
Yeah, you do.
If we can use our St. Brown, you know, the Lions have figured theirs out, which I'm hopeful, but I still think it's going to be a few weeks before we're really able to take on a team like the Giants. It's going to be an L for me this week, and I know it. It's okay.
Hey,
that Giants defense looks
mean.
Looks really good.
Yeah.
And you never thought you'd say that. And getting Kayvon Thibodeau, being able to have him play on Monday night, I think that just gives him a little bit more confidence to go into this and go find him a little Justin Fields.
Man, for me, I think that the plus here, and as you can tell by the line with the Giants being 3-point favorites, if this game was at Soldier Field, the Bears would be 3-point favorites, in my opinion. Yes. Now, the problem there is what we've seen from Justin Fields in the last 2 weeks is low yardage, low attempts, and at least last week, 2 interceptions. Texans defense is nothing to write home about, but they're not that bad. Giants defense, for me, it's really going to depend on Leonard Williams. Can they get the pass rush in the backfield? They didn't sack Cooper Rush, if I'm correct. They didn't sack him at all in that game. If Justin Fields has free reign back there, then I think it bodes well for the Bears. If Leonard Williams is in there, that also helps Kayvon Thibodeau, and so they'll be in the backfield, and I think that could be disruptive towards the Bears' offense. As of right now, give me the Bears, but give me a 1 point or an overtime game. So I would call this a push right here. Bears winning by 3. And can they stop Saquon Barkley? That's going to be the biggest thing in this game for me, because it's not going to be Daniel Jones. It's not going to be Justin Fields. It's going to be the running backs, right? Khalil Herbert, will he build on week 3? And for Saquon Barkley, will he get back to kind of week 1, week 2? But we saw that Dallas Cowboys defensive front, and they're dangerous. 1 minute here. What's a game that is just kind of like Broncos-Raiders? It's kind of like a mad game, you know what I mean? Nothing really exciting about it, what we've seen from the Broncos offense. So kind of keep it quick here. Broncos-Raiders. Raiders in Vegas, 3.5-point favorite. Who wants to lead first?
I'm taking the Raiders. Again, I'm not seeing anything from Russell Wilson. All these Bronco games that I'm seeing, Red Zone doesn't even touch on their game because it's like, oh, yeah, that's happening too.
I was finally...
There's nothing going on.
That is so true.
On the back of Russell Wilson, the Raiders will get their first win of the season.
Yeah, because Russell's going to be on his back.
Yes.
Throw that guy.
That one's going to be pretty good. Maybe it'll be better than what I'm expecting. I would not be surprised. The Raiders need this game more than the Broncos. The Broncos have not shown anything offensively. They're terrible in the red zone. With the Raiders, they've shown the ability to be up and squander a lead, or the ability to be behind and then get back in the game. But I like the Broncos straight up in this game right here. But when it comes to that spread, I still like the Broncos. So give me that money. We'll see how it goes. We're taking a quick timeout here on ESPN Northwest Florida. The number to call, guys, I've gotten quite a few texts in on the trivia answer. The number to call is 850. Make sure you dial 850-215-5006. What wide receiver on this day 20 years ago passed Walter Payton as the all-time leader in yards per scrimmage? You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Amanda Muller and Drew Gorman. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Listeners in Northwest Florida and South Alabama, be prepared. It's hurricane season. We're collecting items residents here and around the country will need in the event of a hurricane. Toiletries, garbage bags, diapers, over-the-counter medicines, clothing, batteries, first aid. Items can be dropped off at our new offices on the beach. 204 Ellen Lane, Suite B, Panama City Beach, 32408. Hurricane Relief America is sponsored by Event Production, Blab TV, and ESPN Northwest Florida.
A mix of sun and clouds this afternoon near 80. A northeast wind up to 30 miles per hour. Water temperature in the Gulf is 85. Mostly cloudy, windy overnight in the low 60s. Thursday and Friday, spotty showers, spotty sunshine in the 70s, close to 80 degrees. Still windy, too. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Is that the sound of an ooey gooey, cheesy, crunchy slice of P-I-Z-Z-A? Obviously, but as good as that sounds, we think it can get even better. Oh yeah, that's the sound of a freshly opened fizz-filled Pepsi. The only thing that can take this flavor medley of crunchy dough, mouth-watering cheese, and savory sauce to the next level. How about another bite? Pepsi and pizza sound like a match made in heaven and taste even better. Pizza, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Ben and Deb Collins, owners of Bay Guns and Gear, have been in business since 2010, offering new firearms and accessories with a huge selection available for your hunting needs and personal defense. Turn to Bay Guns and Gear. They have the weapon for you. Discount pricing. And if you can't find what you're looking for, they'll special order it for you. Bay Guns and Gear, across from Grease Pro at 3115 Highway 77. Visit their website, baygunsandgear.com.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, WBLQ Port St. Joe, powered by Pepsi, ESPN Northwest Florida. Live from the Rib Crib Studio. Doing what other stations can't. The Afternoon Underdogs is live and local. 850-215-6290.
Always be sure to listen for the dial tone.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida is on a crazy train. We're also on 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe, Mexico Beach, and Apalachicola, and 102.1 in Mariana, Chipley, and Bonifay, where we are giving you a chance to win a championship getaway. All right, we've got some phone lines blinging. We'll go ahead and get on over to them. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Who do we got here?
Who do you think it is? It's Michigan State Bruce.
Well, if I would have answered the call before putting you on air, maybe I know. But since I just put you up live out of nowhere, that's how we're getting after it today. Hey, Michigan State Bruce, you got to tell me what wide receiver on this day 20 years ago passed Walter Payton as the all-time leader in yards from scrimmage?
Jerry Rice.
And 100% correct. Do you know where the new office is?
No, actually, I kind of do. I don't really. What? Text me the address because I'm over on that end of the beach anyways.
Well, we're not going to have anybody there right now, so try to get it from 8:30 to 1:30, possibly
That's
tomorrow.
fine. I'll go to lunch tomorrow.
That
Just
sounds
text me the
perfect.
address.
Yes, sir. I surely will, Michigan State Bruce. Thanks so much for playing with us, all right?
Bye.
Yes, sir. That is the correct answer, guys. Remember to dial 850 before the 215-5006, and we will get you on the phone line with us. Let's get over to college football. What are you over here doing the chop?
She's blocking her picks.
She's like,
I've already done mine.
She's like, I've changed my allegiance from Wisconsin over to the Knolls. Oh! All right, let's
You're a brave.
let's get into. Hey, you know, I got a little soft spot for the Knolls and the other teams here in this area. Not a very big one, but still a soft spot nonetheless. Number
like
4.
Yeah.
I need a dentist, Joe. Number 4, Michigan is at Iowa. Iowa's getting 10.5 points here. This is a rematch of the Big Ten Championship. They kick off at 11 a.m. As far as I've seen, looks to be good weather, but we know how the weather goes. It can change on the turn of a dime. Who do you like in this game, Drew?
I'm going to take Michigan. I just do not trust Iowa's offense. They are scoring 17.5 points a game. And I know they're only allowing 5.8 points per game, but there's just no I don't trust their offense.
Straight up, I like Michigan, but I'm taking Iowa with
the points. Man, maybe I should do the opposite of what I did last week and just said, you know what, I'm going against Amanda on everything, and this week just be like, I'm piggybacking. First off, happy birthday to Michigan State, Bruce. You should have said it on the air, and we would have just sang happy birthday to you. And also, he says Iowa wins 2-0.
2-0 it is. I would take that.
Michigan State Bruce is probably going to relish in my pick here because he likes when I pick the teams that he's going against. Like he wants me to pick because he feels like when I pick that team, they're going to lose. So I'm going to go with Michigan in this game. I haven't seen a lot from Iowa, especially offensively, but you know how they play at the house. So this game is a lot closer, I think, than 10.5 points. However, I think that Blake Corum will get the ball at the latter stages of the game, and they'll run away with it. But, I went 2-8 last week, so fade me on that. Another 11 a.m. game here in the SEC at Ole Miss, Kentucky. Number 7 Kentucky is at Ole Miss, number 14 in the nation. Ole Miss a 6.5 point favorite in this game. These are not updated odds. We get our odds on Monday, and then we roll with them through the entire week because we have different guests on each week. So Kentucky, Ole Miss. Amanda, lead us off here.
I am taking Kentucky on this one. They've been playing well. I like what I'm seeing. I guess they're not a basketball school only anymore because the past few years I've been impressed. This whole season I've been impressed. Kentucky wins, giving up 6.5 even.
True.
As much as I want to pick Kentucky, I'm going to take Ole Miss at home here because I think this is Ole Miss hasn't looked like the Lane Kiffin, the Lane Train offense all year long.
Yeah.
And I think this is their the big Jackson Dart coming out party.
I really like that take. This is the first time that these two teams have played as both of them being ranked since 1958. So I think that you got to take that into account as well. I love the take there that you just mentioned with Ole Miss runs the ball a lot, or Ole Miss, we haven't seen them be Ole Miss yet because they've been running the ball a lot. And when you get a 5-star recruit in transferring from TCU and Zach Evans, I think that you're going to kind of expect that. But I don't know if you're going to be able to get that done against the Kentucky rush defense.
Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, Kentucky's going to be bringing Chris Martinez Jr. back for this game. So they're going to have another weapon, and they've been running the ball very well. And also, ironically enough, passing the ball very well. As of right now, and I'm not going to change my pick, this is my day to do it, so I'm going to go with Kentucky to stick within 6.5 points of this game. Let's move on to the next one. Oklahoma, who suffered a terrible loss to Kansas State, is on the road at TCU, who just took out SMU. TCU 6.5-point dog here at the house. Drew, lead us off.
I'm going to go ahead and take Oklahoma because I know coming off that loss, they're stewing back in Oklahoma, and they are ready to show the world that they are the team to beat in the Big 12.
I get you, and they are coming off a loss, but I think TCU's on a high coming off a win. They're at home. Horned Frogs, man.
I like
Horned
it.
Frogs.
I like that. Oklahoma has won 29 of their last 33 true road games. Sonny Dykes is the first TCU coach to win his first 3 games since Francis Schmidt did it in 1929, and Dykes is the school's 12th full-time coach since Schmidt. So I'm going to go with Oklahoma in this game. Winning 3 games, I think it's you're almost due for a loss. I like Oklahoma to bounce back in a very strong way. Another rematch, this time the Big 12 championship. Number 9, Oklahoma State and the Cowboys are on the road in Baylor, who's number 16 in the nation. Baylor is a 2.5-point favorite in this game. Amanda, lead us off.
I am going to take Baylor.
The Bears!
Yes. And I've got a friend whose husband is part of their athletic training team. So you know what? I'm just going to take them because I'm like, why not?
I'm going to also go with Baylor because I trust Dave Aranda, and I think he's already an up-and-coming coach, but I think he's the next big name to come out. And I know in the last pick'em, I just said Oklahoma was the team to beat in the Big 12, but my Big 12 pick is Baylor.
I like that, man. If we get anything close to what we saw out of the Big 12 championship game last year, where
that'll be a fun one.
They were just 1 yard short. I like Baylor to win this game here at the house. They've been inconsistent as far as the way that we pick them, right? But I think that they settle down here, especially being at the house. Tim Braddock in the house. I like Baylor in this one to cover 2.5 points. That's a scary line, as we've seen all of these 2.5-point lines, especially when they're at home, being that small of a favorite. But I'll take Baylor as of now. That game's 2:30. You can also hear on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida coverage starting at 2 p.m. Saturday. Number 22, Wake Forest is at Florida State here. We've got a couple of things to deal with Florida State, right? Dave and Buster's, what do you guys do for Florida State?
So if anyone's trying to go to this FSU Wake Forest game, all you have to do is hop on Instagram, daveandbusters.pcb. Dave and Buster's gives away 2 tickets to every single home game. All you have to do is hop on there, look for the post, like it, share it, and you could be drawn by yours truly on one of our next posts.
Oh, you're in charge of that.
I am.
So I better win these tickets.
I've seen Aubrey's name. Aubrey's been trying a few times to get in there, but haven't drawn her name just yet.
All right. Drew, you also had a piece of information from Will West on that, who wanted a shout-out saying go Noles, and then he wants to interrupt our trivia. Go ahead, bro.
This was a statement from the Florida State Vice President and Director of Athletics, Michael Alford. Our thoughts and prayers at this time with all those impacted by Hurricane Ian. We have conducted another operational briefing today and have been in regular communication with the Atlantic Coastal Conference and Wake Forest's administration. As of now, there is no change to their game. We are making tickets available to Saturday's football game to Floridians displaced by Hurricane Ian. Floridians can claim up to 4 tickets courtesy of Florida State Athletics by showing their state of Florida ID at the Dick Hauser ticket office, otherwise the baseball stadium, on Saturday beginning at 11:30 a.m.
So this game starts at 2:30. So that's 3:30 Eastern time, which is the time zone that Tallahassee is in. So, get out there at 11:30 and get over to the baseball stadium, show your Florida ID, and you get 4 free tickets.
Up to 4.
Up to 4 free tickets. So
That's
how
fantastic.
about that? That is really great of the Florida State Seminoles and their organization, their university to do that. What about the pick here? This game 2:30. What's the pick? We'll lead with you, Drew.
Along with getting the free tickets, that's just going to draw more and more people out to that stadium. So I think Doak Campbell is going to be rocking, and that's just going to give the team more momentum to really put themselves on the map. And I think they come out and put it to Wake Forest,
covering the 6.5.
I am going to agree with you. They're about to destroy Wake Forest in this game.
I hope someone tomorrow or someone earlier in the week has went with the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest, because you know how dangerous it is when all three or everyone across the board has the same team here. I've got a lot of faith in Florida State to pull this one out. The Wake Forest defense shown last week in a tough battle, albeit, but they showed that their defense isn't that great. Florida State's defense, I mean, they haven't played a tough opponent to this point. The verdict's kind of still out on Louisville. I'm going to take Florida State here. They've got a tough stretch coming up, and I think that this is a must-win for them in the long-term scheme of things. I'll take Florida State covering the 6.5. Now, this next one, I am scared about this one. Number 2 in the nation, Alabama, on the road in Fayetteville, taking on number 20 Arkansas for a 2:30 kick time. Arkansas is getting 17.5 at the house. I'll lead off with this one. I'm going to take Bama, and here's why. If I was putting money on this, I'm going Arkansas. There's no doubt about it. 17.5 is a large number, especially when you're on the road. Bryce Young has had some trouble on the road as well. There's been a lot of close games for the Tide on the road when Bryce Young's been under the center. However, they had that close game, right, against Texas. Then they blow out Vanderbilt. I think that there's still a lot to be proven from the Tide, and I also think Will Anderson is raring and ready to go for this game. KJ Jefferson's going to be in a lot of trouble, I believe, and if Alabama doesn't cover this 17.5, the next double-digit spread that they have against an SEC opponent, I will say the other team's name every single time. But roll Tide for now. Drew.
I'm going to go with Arkansas, because with that game being in Fayetteville, and as you said, that 17.5 is a big number.
Mm-hmm.
And Arkansas coming off the loss last week, they are that game. You couldn't have scripted it any better for A&M to come out and win that game last week.
Where's Miles when you need him?
So Alabama wins, but it's keeping it within the spread with Arkansas for me.
I have the same issue as David. I don't want to talk about the Ohio State game last week, but I took Alabama. That spread is scary, but it's doable for Alabama, so I'm going to say Alabama does it. And, I took Bama.
All right, the next game coming up in Mississippi State, number 17, the Texas A&M Aggies on the road here. Mississippi State is a 3.5-point favorite. Amanda, lead us off here.
Taking the Aggies.
Drew.
Taking the Aggies as well. This is going to be the start of the pirate talk and all the letting Mike Leach walk off the plank, and I think this is going to be some of the last couple of games for Mike Leach in Miss State.
Mississippi State got embarrassed against LSU when a lot of people were taking Mississippi State. Texas A&M is going to be without their top receiver in Anaya Smith. I'm going to take Mississippi State here to cover the 4 points, the 3.5 points, if you will, but they got to win by 4 points. I'm going to take Mississippi State, and like you just said, if Mike Leach is going to be gone, the only way to stop that is to win these games, especially these premier games in the SEC. I'll take Mississippi State because the lack of, not only does Texas A&M not have a great quarterback to this point, what we've seen from him hasn't been great. When you lose that top dog, your top receiver, could be a struggle for them. To the ACC we go. Number 10, North Carolina State and the Wolfpack on the road in Death Valley. Number 5, Clemson is giving up 6.5 points. This is a 6:30 p.m. kick. Drew, what you got on this one?
As much as I want to take Clemson straight up, I'm actually going to take NC State covering the points. I think Clemson wins, but that defense from Clemson got embarrassed by Wake Forest last week. So, and I was watching highlights at lunch yesterday. Like, Clemson's defenders were just caught flat-footed, off guard. Like, what are you doing? Like, how is this the number 5 defense, number 5 team in the nation, and this is what your defense is? Like, how?
I agree and bet that they must have watched tapes, got reamed a little bit, and that was a complete fluke. I am taking Clemson in Death Valley. There's no way they do that again.
I'm switching my pick here. I had North Carolina State. No, I had North Carolina State. I'm going to switch it around here. For me, the reason why I originally go with North Carolina State is because you saw that defense in that game against Texas Tech. Yeah, they struggled in the first game of the year against East Carolina, but you saw that defensive front against Texas Tech. However, we also saw the coming out party, if you will, for DJ Uiagalelei. So that, to me, is kind of the cursor here in which I'm going to go with the Clemson Tigers, because I think that they are a really good team, and this is North Carolina State's first ever top 10 battle, the first time that they've been ranked in the top 10 playing another team ranked in the top 10.
Agreed.
I'm going to go with Clemson because they're going to be a little bit more comfortable and I believe a little bit more in Dabo. LSU at Auburn. This game will be joining in progress right around 6 o'clock after the Oklahoma State-Baylor game. You can listen to it here on ESPN Northwest Florida. LSU is giving up 8.5 points on the road in Jordan-Hare. Drew, what do you like from this game?
I'm going to go with the Tigers. Yes, they're both Tigers. I realize that.
I was going to say, me too.
Easy money.
But
like GEAU.
LSU Tigers. For whatever reason, we seem to have Auburn's number year in, year out. And the only reason why we lost to them last year was from Bo Nix doing some random Johnny Manziel-ish play.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember him running around the field and just completing
All
random
too well.
passes. Like,
all too well.
Where? Why? How? So, obviously, in my LSU wear, let's go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
The Tigers hold the
LSU
L.
with
The
L.
Tigers hold the L. What do you got, Amanda?
The fact that neither of these teams are ranked is just crazy to me, but it's at Auburn. I am going to take the other Tigers, the War Eagle Tigers.
Ooh.
And I will take Auburn with the points.
The Eagle Tigers. That should be another nickname.
with
they
the-
could add
with
to
the
the-
8.5?
Freedom,
Ti-
should they be the Freedom Tigers?
Yeah, because they're going to be
We're
free
the
from a
real-
coach here not too long from now.
We're the real Tigers because we actually have a tiger
What
as our
makes
mascot.
A purple
y'all-
and gold
Auburn
tiger
does as well,
any
Albie.
more real than an Auburn tiger.
The actual
have
story,
Mike
we
the
don't have
Tiger.
time for it, but how the War Eagles story came about is actually pretty cool. We talked about it a couple years back on the show. If we can find time today about it, we will again. But I'm going to go with LSU in this game. Crazy things happen at Jordan-Hare. So would I be surprised if Auburn sticks within in the way that Amanda's been picking this year? Absolutely not.
No one believed me about Clemson last week.
You're right, no doubt. Moving on to the Miles special here. Tulane is at Houston. Houston's getting 2.5 points here. This game is tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Amanda, lead us off with Tulane and Washington.
I am going to
Houston.
Yeah,
Washington. Where did that
Washington.
come from?
I'm going to take Houston in this game. I think it'll be a fun one to watch. But yeah, Houston covers. It's 2.5. These 3-point games, they're tough. But yeah, Houston.
Give me Tulane.
I love when we disagree because I know I'm going to be right. Yeah.
All right.
I love the confidence, Amanda. You have all the reason in the world to have it as well. I'm going to go with the Green Wave as well. Let me get Tulane. Their offense has been sharp. Their defense has been good. And Houston was expected to be that team, and they've played in some close games. I'll take Tulane to stick within 2.5. Coming up next is the Real Fisher Report with Tim Braddock. You guys are listening to ESPN Northwest Florida right here in Panama City. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Drew Gorman, Amanda Muller. Coming up next, the Real Fisher Report with Tim Braddock from Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle.
Weather in Northwest Florida can change on a dime.
Gale force winds bombarded with heavy rain.
That's why 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has the most up-to-date forecast on the Gulf Coast. Hi, this is staff meteorologist Tim Root with over 40 years of experience. I know just how fast we can go from sun and fun to a serious situation. For the most accurate and detailed weather when it matters, rely on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. A mix of sun and clouds this afternoon near 80. A northeast wind up to 30 miles per hour. Water temperature in the Gulf is 85. Mostly cloudy, windy overnight in the low 60s. Thursday and Friday, spotty showers, spotty sunshine in the 70s, close to 80 degrees. Still windy, too. This weather forecast has been brought to you by KHS and Associates, your source for affordable health insurance. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Hi folks, it's Tracy with Tracy's Fine Jewelry and Coin and Bullion Reserves. Did you know that we do more than just sell some of the finest jewelry in town? We can engrave on your wedding band, locket, Yeti cup, or almost anything. Need your watch battery changed? We can do that too. Our expert will even evaluate your coin collection. And of course, we always pay top dollar for your old gold and silver jewelry. See, there's a lot more to Tracy's Fine Jewelry than a lot of pretty sparkly things. Come and see us today at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
WSI Next Gen Marketing is an internet marketing agency located in Napa that has recently expanded to the Emerald Coast. We simplify digital marketing to create strategies that best support the business goals of our clients. WSI Next Gen Marketing is small enough for personalized attention, but big enough for outstanding results. We provide lead generation, SEO, and social media management and website services. For more information or to schedule a free consultation, visit WSINextGenMarketing.com. WSI Next Gen Marketing. We simplify the internet.
Hi, I'm Kevin Shady with KHS and Associates. We represent private insurance providers using multiple nationwide PPO networks for pre-negotiated discounted rates and no co-pays, no co-insurance, and no deductibles. If you're interested in a quote, give us a call or text 502-386-1128 and provide us your zip code and the ages and gender of those to include. Call or text us at 502-386-1128. That's 502-386-1128.
In your face.
Questionable calls all over the NFL this year.
On the field.
Quantify, to put a value on momentum, you can't do that.
And in your radio.
Hashtag NFL Rig.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. Live from the Rib Crib Radio Room. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Rib Crib Radio Room. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and it is time for one of my favorite segments of the week, the Real Fishing Report with Tim Braddock from Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle. Tim, my man, what is going on this afternoon?
David, why is it one of your favorite segments? I mean, I love it. I love the flattery, but
why is it one of my favorite segments?
What makes it one of your favorite segments?
Because it's something that we don't have all the time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm 24/7 talking about football, baseball, basketball. So it's something that kind of breaks up the routine, if you will. Secondly, I learn stuff on here. Thirdly, when I learn stuff, my friends learn stuff who don't, if they didn't tune in or something like that. And there's something that I'm like, oh, I know that you enjoy fishing for that particular thing. Well, here's a tip that I got from a guy that knows a lot more than I do about fishing. So that's what it is.
And honestly, it's just a blast. Getting in here, we all mesh. It's just fun.
This works well. I agree. We're talking to Randy about the show this week, and we've had a lot of guests on over the past month or 6 weeks, really. And we're already booked out all the way through the 1st of December with guests coming in. That's awesome. So one of them's online right now, our buddy Chip in Jacksonville. Best of luck to you, Chip, by the way. And all those who were in the path of Ian.
Yes.
And we have a lot of fishing friends and family down in the Tampa area. We have a lot of vendors down that way. And I think any of us that have lived in Florida for any amount of time can kind of relate and feel what they're going through right now. So, but let's talk a little bit about fishing. We have had to cancel, or not cancel, but there's not been a whole lot of fishing for the Panama City fishing rodeo over the past couple days. And so, but I do find it interesting. Amanda shared with me that her kids, her 2 sons, right, caught pompano. So tell us a little bit about that real quick.
Well, I actually was not there. It was, Nick went out with the eldest son, Brody, and they caught some pompano out there on the beach, just surf fishing across the sandbar with their sand flea flavored fish bites.
That's the ticket.
That is.
So did you cook them up, or what happened with those?
They did. They filleted them.
All right.
They filleted them, and they seasoned them as they saw fit. I did not know any recipes. Google gotta Google that one. But it turned out really great. They were great looking fish. I'd actually, to be honest, I had never seen one in person, but that was a good looking fish. He was staring at me, but it was good. This is what it looked like.
Oh, that's a great drawing. It looks lifelike.
Yeah, perfect. Let's show the folks on Instagram. Instagram, this is Amanda's picture of what it looked like. Okay?
Oh, man.
And so that's what her kids caught. But let's
that looks
talk.
like it's a little pale and might need some life support or something.
I only have one color pen.
Only one color pen. So let's talk about, you guys do the football pick'ems, right before we come on this segment. And so my pick for this week would be on the fishing world, would be to target some flounder.
Okay.
And we're going to talk a little bit about that throughout the show, kind of where you can catch those flounder at and how you can catch those. But this time of year is great to be able to go catch flounder. And so, I had the overalls day. Somebody said I should have had a red and black, flannel shirt on. And fall is here. Flounder's here. Football's here.
The 3 Fs.
And the 3 Fs that will get you through fall time, right?
Yeah.
And so, again, offshore's been a little bit rough. When it comes to flounder fishing, you can gig flounder, which I've done a few times down here in the Panhandle. And that's a lot of fun. You can buy underwater LED lights, and they come with a handle on them, and you can put them right up underneath the water and kind of walk the shallow areas and wait for those. And you literally have a gig in your hand. Those gigs can be, I've seen single prong, but most of us prefer a 4-prong gig. And you gig them, you stab them.
Does it matter where you stab them as far as retaining the meat?
No, as long as you get them.
Okay, good.
And
sounds like a good time.
We do we do aim for their eyes though. And a lot of times the refraction of the water kind of gives you that aim point. And sometimes it takes you a minute to try to figure out, exactly where that point is.
Yeah.
Because
when it goes in the water, kind of.
That's where the bend in my line is. It's the refraction.
The refraction. There you go. Great artistry work there.
Yeah, fantastic.
So you can gig them. You can also fish them with artificial bait. The white gulp swim mullet is an absolute staple to fish for flounder. And so right now out in the bays, particularly over toward the jetties, in the pass, both Chaltahachie or over toward Destin and in Panama City, those areas tend to obviously don't fish in the middle, please. Head to the outside to be able to allow the boats to be able to come in and out. But I've seen kayakers out there for some odd reason set up right in the middle of the pass, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
And side note, real quick, I don't know if you saw, but out of Cape San Blas, they had a guy go out. And he ended up on his little inflatable kayak that was his life raft. Coast Guard had to go out and get him yesterday.
I did not see that.
Yeah, it was a pretty rough day to be out. And so that was a report that came in this morning we were reading about and talking about in the shop.
I can tell you that guy needs to listen to this segment because he loves fishing.
So kind of getting back on the flounder real quick, those white swim mullet in a 3 or 4 inch. Most of you know they have a curly Q tail, but for those that don't fish a whole lot, if trout are anywhere in the area, they'll take that tail off in a heartbeat. But that's a great artificial bait to use. And then when it comes to live bait, everything loves live shrimp. And that can be both a good thing and a bad thing, right? So if you're wanting to go out and you want to have some activity and just find out kind of what's in that area, live shrimp is always a way to start. Flounder will eat a live shrimp. Sometimes we like to take like a 1/4 ounce jig head and pull the head off the shrimp. So basically at that point it's a fresh dead shrimp, and then jig it on the bottom as well. But the preferred live bait is bull minnows. Ooh. And so we like to take those bull minnows. If you've ever fished for flounder, if you can give it just a slight jigging motion, their bite's real quick. And there's a certain feel to be able to catch those flounder. And it's a lot different bite than like a redfish that comes in, hits it, and then takes off. Those flounder obviously are coming up, kind of grabbing it, and then just slowly sinking back down to the bottom. So you've got to have almost a jigging up motion. If you're not careful, a lot of times you'll pull the bait kind of out of the flounder's mouth. And so We really expect flounder conditions as far as the fish coming in and being able to catch those in our bay and both from the surf to increase over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We do have a closure date, so this is new for Florida fishing. We have not had a flounder closure date yet, but flounder will close October the 15th for us this year.
Oh, wow.
And so
Is that because of the population or?
Yeah, it's for whether they're spawning and breeding that time of year.
Okay.
So it is ultimately to try to increase their numbers.
Okay.
And so, but again, that will be a great fish to target. That is my pick for over the weekend if somebody wants to go fishing. And we also are seeing a lot of bull reds in the Chaltahatchee. And it doesn't matter who I'm talking to, if it's a charter captain or some of my regular recreational guys that are fishing over particularly the 331 bridge area. The bull reds have been fantastic through there. So that's a great alternate choice, particularly if the winds are forecasted to die down over the next 24 hours and kind of phase out or diminish throughout the weekend. But there's some great protected areas that you can fish over in the Point Washington area. And so we have people that go over there on paddle boards, kayaks. They take, small skiffs, 15 to 18-foot skiffs, and fish the flats up in there. So pretty good fishing. It's also a great time to be able to get out. I personally like to get out, kind of 6:30 in the morning, and then be done by about noon.
Oh,
and
nice.
College football kickoff starts around noon. And I like to be home kind of making preps, but that's my personal preference. So, again, offshore over the past week has been obviously very rough, considering Ian being in the Gulf and the winds here really affecting us. The inshore report, we're looking for bull reds and we're looking for flounder through the weekend. And then the surf, we had a great start of the week to the surf. I don't know if anyone was out Sunday morning or Monday morning in particular at the beach, but the surf was just beautiful. And it was that, looked like a lake slowly lapping up on shore.
Yeah. Those are nice beach days.
And so it was absolutely beautiful Sunday and Monday for us. And then obviously the winds picked up and the conditions deteriorated pretty rapidly over the week. And so we are looking for that to kind of diminish over the next, 24 hours. We're looking for Sunday in particular. If you're looking for a time to be able to get out and go fish, Sunday would be that day to go. And so when it comes to fishing, particularly for the flounder, we've talked about, your live baits. We talked about the ways you can gig. Anybody in here ever been frog gigging?
Yes. So I haven't been.
Okay.
But my buddies, they have been ramping it up, man. And the other day, buddy Zane and John, they had a boat full, man. They had a daggum boat full. So I was actually going to ask you, do you prefer frog gigging or flounder gigging?
No, I prefer flounder gigging. Flounder gigging. If
Not
my
a big
buddy
frog
Warren's
leg
listening,
fan.
I got a good friend Warren that lives up in the Funiac, and I actually had lunch with him today. That's why I have overalls. I was chopping wood. And hello, Siri. Always talking
Watch
to
was trying
somebody
to
in
pick
here.
up something.
But we were chopping wood this morning, and I was talking to Warren, and I can't even remember. We were talking about frog gigging. Oh yeah, I went flounder gigging with Warren. So he brings up that story. About 8 years ago was my first experience flounder gigging, and it got to where he initially said, "Hey, if you see anything that has shimmery eyes, and it's in the sand or on the grass, like that's a flounder. Like go for it." After about having to pull the third puffer fish off, he was like, "Man, we gotta calm this down." So and we did. We saw about a 5-foot bull shark that night.
Ooh.
Come swimming right at the boat. He has the underwater lights. You could see clear as a bell through there, and that bull shark comes in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when we look at flounder fishing, there's multiple ways to do that, but don't let just because you can't gig, man, go to the pier. They've been catching them off the pier some as well, particularly later evenings. And so, if you've never fished off the pier, you need to know that when you go on the pier and you pay your license or you pay to get on the pier, it's $7. That includes your ability to fish. So you don't have to go out and buy a separate fishing license. And we get that question a lot.
Do they give you a discount if you already have your license?
They give you a discount if you look like David Hayes. And,
I'll take it.
With a Rays hat.
1% discount.
Wait, I thought we did this last week. It's a local upcharge.
Yeah, that's right.
20%. He remembers.
Local upcharge.
And so, again, when it comes to fishing this weekend, flounder's what we're looking for. Bull reds, particularly if you're over in Chaltahachie, there's a high probability somebody off the jetties will catch one, particularly in Panama City this week. And a quick rodeo update. It's obviously been slow the past couple days, but I want to give a shout out to two of our regular customers, Cecil and Tiffany. Tiffany weighed a fish in a king mackerel, and it's on top of the leaderboard right now. And then Cecil weighed a Spanish mackerel in. So we have a king mackerel and a Spanish mackerel. And congratulations to those two individuals. They're still holding the top spot. We got about another week, 9 days left to go before the rodeo's closed.
That is awesome because they had to get their stuff from Bay Bridge.
Yeah, they have to get their stuff.
That's a
from Bay
ringing
Bridge.
endorsement, baby.
Yeah, those are two fantastic regular customers we get to see, and so it's great to see their names on the top of the leaderboard and getting out there going fish. There is still the king mackerel spot is still open in the land-based division, so that is a hard fish to catch from land. So there's going to have to be some waiting out and a little bit of extra rigging that's done. But that is one spot, if you're wanting to fish in the rodeo, that is still open. There's not a single fish been weighed in the king mackerel area.
Let's go.
Yep.
Yeah, get out there with your unicorn.
No, it's got to be from land.
By the way, what happened with the unicorn?
It was a flamingo, and you guys didn't furnish me one. So when you get me one.
I missed the memo when we had to furnish the flamingo. Ian took it.
We'll try again next time.
Ian took it.
It's a little breezy out there. I will work on it.
All right. Well, we will work on getting you to catch a fish off the flamingo. So let me give you a summary real quick. I know we're running up against time. The gale force winds are expected to be in place through Friday. Weekend conditions will be improving, making Saturday and Sunday good times to go out and fish. Flounder are starting to be caught with regular numbers in the bays, particularly around structure, to include the jetties. Big bull reds have been the hottest fish to catch inshore, particularly in the Chaltahachie Bay area. My pick for the weekend would be to spend some time fishing the jetties with live shrimp, minimal weight to provide a slow sinking action. Gulp swim mullet will be a great artificial alternate bait to fish with. Rig it simply using a 3/8 or 3/4 ounce jig head. Our thoughts and prayers are with those that have been impacted by the devastation of Ian. We usually close by encouraging you to fish. This week, we want to encourage you to take some time and find a way to help our neighbors in Florida affected by Ian.
Thank you, Tim, so much. That's Tim Braddock with the Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, the Real Fishing Report. Tim, as always, thank you so much, my man. All right, we are going to take a quick time out. When we get back, we'll tell you how you can get involved in helping out those that's been hit by Hurricane Ian. We'll be right back in a few seconds here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Hey everyone, Chef Ross here. Join me for our first annual Pops Pig Pickin' Charity Barbecue, benefiting Food for Kids, in honor of my dad, Pops Ronald Robinson. Enjoy mouth-watering barbecue, mystery drink specials, and a 50-50 raffle. Pops Pig Pickin' Charity Barbecue, October 30th, 2 p.m. at the Break Room, 2727 Joan Avenue. For more information, visit the Pops Pig Pickin' Charity Barbecue event page on Facebook. Sponsored by Team MVP, the Break Room Sports Bar, and ESPN Northwest Florida.
Game days are always better at Dave & Buster's. That's because
More TV inches, more food and drinks, more space, and more fun make the game we all know and love more special. Nothing beats seeing your favorite team take the field on the two 12-foot big screens or 26 75-inch TVs. Throw in the arcade experience and you've got a winning atmosphere that no other sports bar can deliver. Follow the fun at Dave & Buster's Panama City Beach on Facebook and Instagram. Eat, drink, play, and watch sports at Dave & Buster's.
Hi, I'm Bobby Likas with today's Car Clinic Minute. Wonder why Americans motor on the right-hand side of the road while the English drive on the left? It goes a long way back, but we can thank the French for our right-of-way. I'll tell you why when we come back.
The Car Clinic Minute.
It's Bobby Likas Car Clinic, brought to you locally by Hewitt Tire and Auto.
Call 850-769-7323.
Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
That's 850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
The keep left mentality originated from historic self-preservation. Traveling on the left side of the dusty road gave a horseman's right hand a clear arc for swinging a sword, making defending himself easier. Then along came Napoleon. Since he was left-handed, he changed the system to keep right, based on the same sword-wielding principle. Naturally, any country under French rule also changed, and the U.S. followed suit when we declared independence from Great Britain. As the old saying goes, if everything's coming your way, you're either in the wrong lane or you're in England. I'm Bobby Likas. Like us, you'll love us.
Live from the Rib Crib Studio. From Tyndall Air Force Base to the Hathaway Bridge. We are live and local. It's the Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
All right, we are back here in the Rib Crib Radio Room. That was the Real Fishing Report with Tim Braddock with Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle. That is the place to go. And as he was leaving off, he was mentioning Hurricane Ian. And we're taking donations at the new office on the beach, 204 Suite B, Ellen Lane. The zip code is 32408. Hurricane Relief America is sponsored by Event Production, Blab TV, and 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're looking for cases of bottled water, batteries, first aid, underwear, over-the-counter medicine. We talked about tarps yesterday being absolutely huge. So we'll be getting that down there to South Florida. And, you know, we were talking about yesterday, there's going to be a ton of help in the first 2 weeks, but that trickle-down help there after that second week, the third week, is going to be, it'll prove to be crucial for the residents of South Florida. And also, I had a text come in from my buddy Wright State, Chris, and he said, he was asking about the Florida State stuff, and wouldn't you think that with the tickets that they're giving away, right? We mentioned the up to four tickets if you go to the Dick Howser Stadium, the baseball stadium, and show your ID. I wonder if there's you know what I mean? If there's a landmark or a certain area where you have to, you know what I mean? Your ID has to show where you're from. Because if you're here in Panama City and you weren't impacted by the hurricane,
displaced, like probably the certain counties, like evacuated counties.
Right, that's what I would think too. So if you're from Panama City, I wouldn't necessarily, you know what I mean? Like we weren't affected by it, so I wouldn't, let
people get those tickets.
Exactly. That's because we know how it is here, right? I mean, how long did it take some people to get out of Panama City after that? Because we had to take my grandparents down to Jacksonville afterwards because there was no power in their house. So we took them to Jacksonville, came right back, and got to work. But yeah, so let's leave those tickets for the people who've been displaced.
Honestly, with Michael, we saw it at Dave & Buster's because we actually were fortunate enough to have power. We let people come in because that first Sunday afterwards, people came in to watch football for a sense of normalcy.
Yes.
They just wanted something that
the distraction.
felt normal. So like that football, like. Yeah.
It was so weird for me because, and I totally understand that sentiment, but we would watch games sometimes at nighttime. We'd bring the TV out, hook it up to the generator, and we would have like a cookout and watch some of the games, but it just never felt right until like maybe two, or not that it didn't feel right. It was just like,
Something was different.
yeah, like this game, like I love the distraction, if you will, but at the same time, like I'm not as pumped up about this game because I know, we've got a long road ahead of us, but it was a nice distraction, no doubt about that. I don't know how it would have been had I been working here at ESPN at that point in time, because I was putting up awnings. So at that point in time, I was kind of all around the city, kind of helping do certain things and whatnot. But being here and trying to talk about sports when it's like there's so much more going on right now than sports. But hey, it is that distraction, and people they yearn for that distraction at times when our backs are up against the wall. That's after 9/11 and sports being such a huge part of that, not just the unity, but not necessarily the distraction, but just to show, hey, we can bounce back from this. We're strong,
and we
will.
About some of those games after 9/11.
Yeah,
the Mets game and
huge.
Yankees games. Those are huge games.
Let's get in some NFL buy or sell here. We'll go for about 4 minutes, and then we've got to get to another break and finish the show talking about some Thursday night football. So buy or sell. Doug Peterson is going to win Coach of the Year as of now.
Oh, that's a sell. I mean, in my heart, it's a
That's a sell.
In my heart, it's a buy.
Hard
I
pass.
think it's great, but yes, hard pass on that one.
Sell as well.
Yeah.
I think he's got, if they keep playing like they do,
then
he's got
we can talk about it, but it's
go.
week 4.
But yeah, week 4, give me till week 6 and ask me the question again, and then I'll give you a concrete answer.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm with you guys on it. Well, here's my thing. He's already won 2 games. How many games did Urban Meyer win as head coach last year? 2 games. So he's already tied the total there, and they're looking to be a lot better. I'll buy this. I'll buy that he's going to be the coach of the year because.
And
who else is there?
Who else is there? I mean, maybe one of the rookie coaches. Lovey. And we got a ways to go with that one. And these guys are in the same division.
2 wins under their belt. So
that's true.
One of the crazy things about the Jaguars is you look at their offseason. Yeah, they brought in Doug Peterson, but they also brought in 2 big kind of middle of the road wide receivers in Zay Jones and Christian Kirk,
who has proven that he's more than middle of the road.
Everybody clowned him and looked at him and was like, "Why are you giving so much money to these 2 receivers? They're the number 4 receiver on any team." They're the top 2 leading receivers on the team, and they are showing why they deserve that money.
And I think it also helps them that they have Marvin Jones Jr. there, who's that veteran guy who can just kind of, lay down the format of how it should go. The Cowboys are better with Cooper Rush than they are with Dak Prescott as the quarterback. Buy or sell?
Buying that all day.
You too?
I'm gonna buy it as well because it forces them to do what they're good at.
Yeah.
And if you have Dak, you're just like, oh well,
let's get our $40 million worth.
We can fall back with Dak and just throw it all over the yard. No, that's not what Dallas is good at. They have to play. They have to play complementary football.
Like that should be a T-shirt, like fall back with Dak.
Fall back with Dak. Hopefully your ankle stays good. I sell this very heavily. I get the excitement that's around Cooper Rush, and you beat the Bengals. That's a nice win. It wasn't anything impressive to me offensively. I do agree that they play a little bit more complimentary football. There is definitely a fact there. But this is a different situation than it was when Dak Prescott was getting the job, winning the job as a backup over Tony Romo. Dak's still on the good side of 30 and still has a lot left in him. I would ride out Cooper Rush longer than just throwing him there to week 5 and say, hey, go play with the Rams. No. With what we've seen from Cooper Rush is that he's capable, so let Dak get 100%. But still, if I have my option here, Dak or Cooper Rush, I think we're overreacting to Cooper.
So secondary question.
Yeah.
Would Cooper Rush have done better against Tampa? Would that have been more exciting than what Dak Prescott did?
I guess you don't really. They put up 3 points, so
that's what I'm saying. So.
Hey, it could be, but at the end of the day, that defensive front for the Buccaneers could have caused even more havoc for a guy like Cooper Rush. Hey, and it could be. And the verdict is still out on that. That's why we're playing buy or sell and not fact or fiction. Ken Dorsey equipment violence meltdown was better than Tom Brady's. buy or sell?
I'm gonna sell it because I love seeing Tom Brady thrown away as a Saints fan, and it's 9 times out of 10 it's caused by the Saints defense.
Yeah.
I love seeing Tom
And not
Brady
just one
throw and all
tablet,
that.
but 2 tablets for Tom Brady in that game.
And you go back to last year, he was also seen throwing him again.
Yeah.
Like, I love watching that. Those are my favorite replays.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to sell it as well. Tom Brady's was great. And I think it's great, too, that they've got the NFL tablets look just like the Amazon Kid tablets and those, like, foam protectors because they know they're about to throw those things. They are protected as much as they can. So, they threw them, but they were fine. They were marshmallow padded.
I think the NFL needs to have a few of those. Like, they got bench players and, guys ready to go that probably won't touch the field. They need to have tablets like that. I'm going to take Ken Dorsey's here. I'm going to buy this because not only did he break the tablet and stuff, but just, like, ruffling the papers and everything like that after that loss. That was funny to see.
It was great.
Last one here, and we're going to wait till we get back from this break, and we'll deal with that when we get back. You guys are listening to the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Dolphins versus Bengals coming up here in just a few. We've got a few minutes left to go. Keep it locked into ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida is your touchdown headquarters for the Mosley Dolphins and the Auburn Tigers. Plus, premier college and NFL games. Your source for the most live football on the Gulf Coast in a rich audio experience. 102.1, 104.3 in the ESPN Northwest Florida app.
It's time to let the fall adventures begin in a new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Now offering 3.49% up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2022 Kia Sorento. You can expand your horizons and write your next chapter with confidence in the outgoing and adventurous 2022 Kia Sorento that has the perfect balance of comfort, safety, performance, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKia.com. We make buying a car easy and will give you the peace of mind you can trust.
Offer from KM after the purchase of a new 2022 Sorento with $22.36 per month per 1,000 financed at 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 10/31/22.
Dr. Chad Mitchell, orthopedic surgeon, specializing in sports medicine and joint replacement of the knee, shoulder, and hip. He serves our local athletes and our community. Southern Orthopedic Specialist has been the leader in orthopedic care for over 20 years. New patients are welcome. Call 850-769-KNEE to schedule an appointment. More about Dr. Mitchell and Southern Orthopedic Specialist is available on their website, southernorthopedic.com. Southern Orthopedic, getting you back in the game.
Tired of being overcharged each month for health insurance or finding out you still have significant out-of-pocket costs from copays or deductibles when you do go see the doctor? Hi, I'm Kevin Shady with KHS & Associates. Our independent insurance agency has helped individuals, families, and even small business employees lower their health care insurance costs with no copays, no 80/20 coinsurance, and no deductibles unless you're hospitalized overnight. Call or text us at 502-386-1128. That's 502-386-1128.
Hometown Sports Talk from hometown hosts.
People are loving it.
We're live and local. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, live from the Rib Crib Radio Room.
Are you kidding me?
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This just don't feel right to me. I wanna raise your spirits. I want to see you.
Final segment of the day here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We got to keep it quick here, so we will. Let's keep it rocking with buy or sell real quickly here. There will be no undefeated teams after week 4. You've got the Dolphins at the Bengals tonight, and then Sunday you have the Jaguars at the Eagles. Buy or sell, no undefeated teams after week 4.
Buying it.
Buying it.
I think I'm going to have to buy it too, and we talked about the Eagles earlier, and we all three went with them winning, so I think that has the Dolphins losing to the Bengals tonight. I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's easier to buy than it is to sell here. Dolphins at the Bengals tonight. Bengals are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under sitting at 48.5. Who wins the game?
I'm saying the Bengals win the game. Just with everything going on with Tua, as many weapons as he has, I think it absolutely is going to go over. It's going to be a fantastic game to watch. It's going to be high scoring, but the Bengals win.
Drew.
Bengals win.
All right. I'm going to go with I need the Jaguars to lose. Not just want them to. I need them to lose. I'm still going to take the Dolphins tonight. I'm going to take them. I'll take the over-under to go under. No, it's the Fun League, the National Fun League. We're going over 48.5. I'll say that the Dolphins are going to cover being down 3.5 points. And, yeah, that's my answer. Who has more receiving yards, Tyreek Hill or Jamar Chase?
Jamar Chase.
Tyreek Hill.
I'm going to go Chase on this one. What about Jalen Waddle or T. Higgins?
Waddle.
Higgins.
I feel like we should play.
I'm going to go Waddle on this one. I'm going to go Waddle on this one. Joe Mixon, over or under 65.5 yards rushing?
Absolutely over because I started in this week.
I'm going under. I think the Dolphins defense, that defensive line is a lot better than what people projected.
I 1,000% agree with that. I'm going to go I'll go under on this one as well. More touchdowns in the passing department. Will it be Joe Burrow or Tua Tagovailoa?
I think this is the week that Burrow puts it together.
Me too.
Oh, more passing. Is it touchdowns or is it yards? Touchdowns. Man, I'm going to go with Tua because I think Mixon might get him one near the goal line. But
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, there you go. I'll go with Tua in this instance. I think that it will probably end up being tied. Anything else you guys want to say before we get out of here for the day?
Yeah, I want to know who you benching this week.
Russell Wilson.
Why? Let me hear
Bring
it.
on Marcus Mariota because
I like this. I like it.
11 points from a offensive standpoint from the whole Broncos. They have not looked at all like the team that we projected.
What people expected
and
them?
you had put it out on Sunday. The AFC West is not the AFC West that we thought it was going to be.
That we imagined it would be. But we are out for today, you guys. Thank you so much for riding here with the Afternoon Underdogs. We'll be back tomorrow at 4. At least Caveman Rick and Adam Golf will be. I'll be at Charles, Tallahassee, calling the Mosley football game. You guys have a great afternoon. Coming up next is going to be Paul Feinbaum until 6:30. Then after that, we'll get you to the coverage of the Dolphins versus the Bengals. Have a great afternoon. Coach James Hill Show live at 7 a.m.
Is it wrong if I think it's Linda Dance? Do you like my stupid hair?
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're the radio home of the Mosley Dolphins.
This Friday night, we're going under the lights. It's Mosley at Childs. The Dolphins versus the Timberwolves. Kickoff at 6. Sponsored by Southern Orthopedic Specialists, Panama City Toyota, Tavario Solutions, Gulf Coast Aquarium, Barano Heating and Air Conditioning, Barbaritos, Team MVP, Ellis Agency Insurance, First Federal Bank, and ESPN Northwest Florida.
A mix of sun and clouds this afternoon near 80. A northeast wind up to 30 miles per hour. Water temperature in the Gulf is 85. Mostly cloudy, windy overnight in the low 60s. Thursday and Friday, spotty showers, spotty sunshine in the 70s, close to 80 degrees. Still windy, too. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Earthwork.